Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to have a quick revision on algebraic fractions. The first kind of question that we're going to look at is addition and subtraction of like terms. So when we are adding and subtracting like terms, right, what we need to do is we need to rearrange the terms in the same order. So x will group with x because they are like terms, y will group with y, again because they are like terms. So when we are arranging like terms, right, what happens is we'll follow the sign on the left side of each term. So for instance, 1/4 x is actually positive, 8 over y is positive, 2 over 3x is positive, y is negative. So we will arrange according to the signs. Right? So it will be like this. Now the next step is we can actually make use of our calculators to obtain the answers. So these two are like terms, the x and x, they are the like terms. So we can just add the values accordingly, 1/4 plus 2/3 on our calculators. Right, and the result of it will be 11 over 12. Okay, so you just write down 11 over 12. Then please remember to write down the x as well. Also it will be 11 over 12 x. Okay, for 8 over 5 y and minus y, right, we can think of minus y as minus 1y. Okay, we can think of the imaginary 1 here. So when you key in the calculator, right, it will be 8 over 5 minus 1. So the results will be plus 3 over 5. Okay, and again we must remember the y there. Okay, so this is the answer for a question if they don't require us to write it as a single fraction. Sometimes the questions may require us to simplify this as a single fraction. So under those instances, then how do we do? Okay, then you can actually proceed like this. So 11x over 12, right, is the same as 11x over 12. Okay, because x is the same as x over 1. So when we actually rearrange the fraction, it will be written as 11x on the numerator and 12 at the denominator. Okay, same thing for our 3 over 5y, it will become 3y over 5. So how do we actually group fractions together? We can actually just find a common denominator, and the common denominator can be obtained by finding the LCM of the denominator. So in this case, the LCM for 12 and 5 is just the multiplication, which is 12 times 5, 60. So in order to get 60, right, we'll actually need to multiply by 5 to the first fraction. And in order to get 60, we need to get multiplied by 12 for the second fraction. Okay, so our result will be 55x plus 36y over 60. Okay, so there can be two kinds of answers to this type of question. So if the question never asks for express your answer as a single fraction, we can just leave it in this form, where it's just 11 over 12x plus 3 over 5y. But if the question requires us to leave it as a single fraction, then you just find the common denominator by multiplying the denominator together, and after that just adjust accordingly to get the fraction as a single fraction. So this is how we get the answer. Okay. Right. Let's look at the second type of question involving fractions. So sometimes we can also we may encounter questions involving nested brackets. What are nested brackets? Okay, nested brackets simply means questions involving brackets within a bracket. So in this situation, right, when we see brackets within brackets, okay, so over here there's one bracket within a second bracket. Right, so when you see brackets within brackets, right, don't be in a hurry to expand the brackets, the outermost brackets, which is the square bracket over here. Okay, so what we should do is we should actually expand the innermost brackets first. Okay, so in this case we should expand the round brackets first. Okay, so let's take a look at this expansion now. What we will do now is we'll just copy the values 3/4 bracket to 3/4 bracket, right? So you copied it first. Okay, now 2 will be multiplied with 4a and negative b. Okay, so 2 will multiply with 4a, 2 will multiply with negative b. Again, we need to apply our multiplication rules. So positive times positive, you get positive. Okay, positive times negative, you get negative. Right, again the same thing. For negative 5, we will need to multiply with a. Negative 5, you need to multiply with negative 2b. Okay, so negative 5 times a, you get negative 5a. Negative 5 times negative 2b, you get positive 10b. Okay, so we have expanded the inner brackets. Our next task is to simplify the terms within the brackets. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to simplify it. We can rearrange it first. So you get 2 quarter multiplied by 8a minus 5a. Okay, because the sign on the left side of 5a is negative. Minus 2b. Again, sign on the left side of 2b is negative. Plus 10b. Sign on the left side is positive. Okay, after that you can just use your calculator. 3 quarter 8a minus 5a, you get 3a. Negative 2b plus 8b, you get plus 10b, you get plus 8b. Okay, finally this part you can also use your calculator. 3 quarter times 3, you get 2 and 1 quarter. Okay, so it will be 2 and 1 quarter a. 3 quarter times 8, you will get 6. So it's plus 6b. And this is how we solve a question involving nested brackets. Okay, everyone clear on that? Alright, next, we're going to look at addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions. Okay, so this typical type of question, right, is involving a fraction and addition and subtraction of a fraction with a non-fraction. So what happens when we are dealing with a non-fraction? We can actually change the non-fraction into a fraction by writing over 1. So this is what we're going to do now. So this is u plus 5 over 3. We'll change u to u over 1. Okay, so similar to the previous process, right, we want to have a common denominator, so we will just multiply the denominators together. So 3 times 1 is 3, the common denominator is 3. Okay, so we don't need to do anything for the first fraction. What do we need to do for the second fraction? Alright, yes, we need to multiply by 3 for both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so once you have done that, okay, you can simplify it. It will be u plus 5 over 3 minus 3u over 3. Right, now the next step is to combine the fractions together. So when you combine the fractions together, you can simply write it like this. So it will be u plus 5 minus 3u, the whole thing, over 3. Right? Okay, and after that we can do a rearranging. So you get u minus 3u plus 5 over 3. Okay, then finally last step, we just need to simplify the like terms together. So u minus 3u, you get negative 2u, okay, plus 5 just follows. And this will be the answer for this question. Okay, so minus 2u plus 5 over 3. Okay, so this is how we solve the question. Simple. Right. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the next type of question will involve addition and subtraction of 2 fractions. Okay, and notice that this one of the fraction, right, we actually have multiplication on the brackets also. So we can handle it easily as well. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Right, so when we have this kind of question, right, again the first step that you should have is to have a common denominator. So what will be the common denominator in this case? Right, it will be 5 times 3. Okay, we can actually just take the denominator, multiply them together. So the LCM of 5 and 3 is 5 times 3 is 15. Right, so to make the first fraction 15, I'll need to multiply by 3 to both the numerator as well as the denominator. Okay, so I can do that now. So 3 times 2 bracket 3a minus b over 3 times 5. Okay, to make the denominator 15 for the second fraction, we'll multiply it by 5. So it will be 5. Okay, now notice that we are multiplying by 5 to the whole numerator, so we need to include the brackets. Okay, so it's 5 bracket 2a plus 5b, the whole thing over 5 times 3. Okay, so this is how we express it as a common denominator. right? Okay, the next step. Okay, now common mistake that students will make is they will multiply 3 to 2, they will multiply 3 to the terms inside the bracket. Okay, we cannot do that. Okay, it's just like when you are playing some adventures games. Okay, when you use one potion for one character, right, the potion cannot be used for the second character, correct? Okay, so it's the same over here. So 3, when you use up the 3 for 2, right, is used up. Okay, so you cannot use the 3 for the terms inside the bracket again, right? So we just multiply it one time, and you just take 3 multiplied by 2 to get the simplified term, right? Okay, so now we'll have 3 times 2, you get 6. Okay, then we follow by 3a minus b. Okay, out of 15. Okay, and over here it's just minus 5 bracket 2a plus 5b out of 15. Okay, now once we are done with this, right, the next step is we want to combine the fractions together. So just simply copy the terms and the numerator. Okay, so you just copy the terms in the numerator, 6 open bracket 3a minus b. Okay, there's a minus sign here. We'll just follow minus. Okay, 5 open bracket 2a plus 5b. Okay, and the whole thing over 15. Right? Okay, now the next step is just to expand the numerators. Okay, so 6 times 3a, 6 times negative b, negative 5 times 2a, negative 5 times 5b. Right, so we'll do the expansion now. So 6 times 3a will get 18a, 6 times negative b we get negative 6b, negative 5 times 2a, negative 10b, 10a, sorry. Okay, negative 5 times 5b we get negative 25b. Right, and the whole thing over 15. Okay, so a lot of students, they like to expand the terms here first. It's okay to do that, but when you expand the terms here and when you group them together, please remember to have your brackets again, because you're subtracting the whole numerator of the second fraction. So please remember to have your brackets, otherwise your plus and minus sign will be affected. Okay, so let's continue. So we can rearrange. So your answer now will be 18a minus 10a. Okay, we follow the sign on the left side. So minus 6b minus 25b. Okay, out of 15. Right, and then 18a minus 10a, that will be 8a. Minus 6b minus 25b, that will be minus 31b. Okay, the whole thing out of 15. And this will be our answer. Alright. Okay, let's look at the last type of example. Okay, so for this question, we are actually trying to solve fractions, solve equations involving fractions. So notice on the left side of the equation, right, this is actually not a single fraction. So we cannot actually solve a question yet if it's not expressed as a single fraction. What we will need to do now is we need to combine the two fractions into a single fraction first. Okay, so same as what we have done previously. To combine two fractions together, we need to make sure that the denominators are the same. So in this case, what is the common denominator? Right, we'll just multiply 5 times 7, and our common denominator is 35. So to make the denominator 35, we'll need to multiply by 7 to the first fraction. Okay, so we need to multiply by 7 to the first fraction. Okay, and to make the denominator 35 for the second fraction, we need to multiply by 5 to the second fraction. Okay, and take note, because we are multiplying the whole numerator, you need to put a bracket for t plus 2. Okay, so this will be our expression over here. Okay, on the right side is equals to 2, so we still need to write the equals to 2, and this will be the complete equation. Right, okay, our next step, we simplify the fraction. So 7t, okay, over 35 minus 5 bracket t plus 2 over 35. Okay, so to combine the fraction, we will just copy everything we see. Alright, so numerator is 7t. Okay, minus, we follow with minus. Okay, the numerator is 5t plus 2, 5 bracket t plus 2. We'll copy it exactly as it is. Okay, out of 35 equals to 2. Okay, after that we will simplify. So 7t minus 5t. Okay, so this part is the expansion part. Okay, so negative 5 times 5 t is negative 5t. Negative 5 times 2 is minus 10. Okay, out of 35 equals to 2. Okay, we simplify the numerator. So now you'll have 7t minus 5t, we'll get 2t. Okay, minus 10 over 35 equals to 2. Okay, so once we have such a situation, right, we can apply our cross multiplication technique. So 2, we can take it as 2 over 1. Okay, so denominator will multiply by opposite numerator. Okay, numerator will multiply by opposite denominator. So we'll end up like this. So 1 bracket 2t minus 10 is equals to 35 times 2. Okay, so cross multiplication. Okay, then finally we'll just expand the terms. So 2t minus 10, 1 times anything is still the same terms. 35 times 2 is 7t. Okay, finally we want to rearrange the terms. So to remove negative 10, we will add 10 on both sides. So 2t will be equals to 7t plus 10. Okay, 2t is 80. And to remove 2, we need to divide 2 on both sides. Okay, we use the opposite operator, remember? Okay, so t will be equals to 80 divided by 2. Our answer will be 40. Right, okay, so this is just a quick recap of algebraic fractions. Hope we have learned something. So as a quick summary of what we have learned today, you may want to just check, okay, whether you have managed to understand how to solve the different types of questions. Okay, so we have learned how to cover addition and subtraction of like terms, expansion involving nested brackets, addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions. We have 2 types. One is fractions with non-fractions, and another one is addition and subtraction of both fractions. And we also learned how to solve equations involving algebraic fractions. Right, so just do a quick check. Okay, if you are proficient in all the terms, let's tick under the smiley face. And if you're a bit lost, you don't know how to do certain parts, yeah, you can just tick at the sad face over there, right? And do ask for help, right? Do ask for help if you need more help. And you can always ask your friends, or you can just check me on Google Classroom or WhatsApp me, right? Okay, so all the best for your preparations. Yeah, we'll see you.